What's up, MMA YouTube? Welcome to the African Fighters. Today we're talking about Francis Ngannou. As you can see from the title or the thumbnail, will Francis Ngannou ever return to the UFC? We're here to find out. Stay tuned and watch this video. Make sure to like our video, subscribe to our channel, and let's dive straight into this. A couple of days ago, UFC Middleweight champion Israel Adesanya did a review of the UFC 290 International Fight Week event, which saw his future opponent Dricus Du Plessis defeated Robert Whittaker to become the #1 contender for the middleweight title. Israel Adesanya in his review video talked about the three African kings, what it means to Africa MMA. Amazing achievement to be three Africans out of no more than 20 Africans in a UFC roster of over 700 fighters. So that was amazing, incredible. Three champions in three weight classes simultaneously for over a year. Adesanya also went on to talk about Ngannou's recent boxing achievement. Adesanya is one of the only few MMA fighters who was vocal about Ngannou. Talked about Ngannou leaving the UFC in the press conference. Conveniently, he was talking about Ngannou doing the right thing and he's going to support Ngannou. Shout out to Adesanya for doing that. Adesanya also talked about Ngannou returning to the UFC. He says Ngannou is going to go and do his boxing thing, and he believes Ngannou will return to the UFC. Adesanya also mentioned that Ngannou could keep proving people wrong, and there's high chance that Ngannou will go back to the UFC someday. Take a look at this video to see for yourself.
Look, I said it already. I said he'll be back in the UFC. I think he'll be back in the UFC, but he just has to make his bag elsewhere first. But this is how I see things. I see things differently. And Dana and him have their beef, but I feel like he'll do what he has to do, then he'll be back in the UFC and get the respect he deserves and get the money he deserves. But this right here is a big win for him. It's a big win for us as fighters. Yeah, again, that's my brother, that's big bro. So I text him straight away. I was like, well, we're going to Saudi Arabia. I'm witnessing that shit live, because, man.
Later yesterday, Francis Ngannou was on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, where he discussed his boxing deal on the boxing fight, super mega fight against Tyson Fury in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, happening on 28 October this year. Ngannou also talked about how he'll keep proving people wrong. Ngannou also talked about if there was one fight left for him in his MMA career, he will want that fight to be John Jones. When asked about Ariel Helwani about his face-off with John Jones a couple of weeks ago in PFL, Ngannou mentioned that he would love to fight John Jones. That's one fight he's still hoping for to happen, and even if he's left to one fight left in his career, he would love that fight to be John Jones. And then Ariel Helwani asked him what is the potential of getting that fight done. Is it possible for him to get the fight done or the UFC? Ngannou remained open, remained respectful, despite the bad blood, despite having issues with Dana White, little beef here and there, online jabs, Dana White throwing some kind of comment in the press conference trying to discredit Francis Ngannou. Ngannou also replying via social media. Despite all this back and forth, Ngannou is a businessman, Dana White is a businessman, and Ngannou is open, has clearly left the door open for a possible UFC return. Maybe we'll get to see a PFL versus UFC collab. Maybe it could be just a one-fight deal. Ngannou crossing over to meet the UFC and fight John Jones. Maybe a title fight, or maybe just an MMA fight without a title. It could be that.
You were just at the PFL event not that long ago. What a scene that was with John Jones. After that, like, was there a part of it? I said this to Markel last week. I was like, man, these guys were in the same promotion for all these years and we can never figure it out. And now we're getting face-offs. It was like a bit of a tease, like seeing you guys like, what was your takeaway from that whole experience, seeing John and going face-to-face with him and all the hoopla? So many people were so excited about it afterwards. What was your reaction to that?
Well, I know it's a fight that can happen if the UFC decide to give that fight to the fan, it can happen. That fight is always there, and it can always happen. They just have to compromise a little bit.
But you don't think they will, right?
You never know. People change, bro.
Yeah. So you're holding out hope.
Yeah, I'm still hoping for that. I mean, I think if I have one fight left in MMA, I will hope to be John.
If you have one fight, you don't have one fight left, right? You're saying if you have.
No, I don't have one fight left.
Right.
I say if I have one fight left in my career, I hope that will be John.
The amazing thing is, like, ESPN could help make this happen because, they say, hey, let's get this guy. He's with PFL. They're on ESPN. UFC's on ESPN. Let's do it on ESPN. Like, it feels like a very easy thing to get done.
Well, a lot of things seems like very easy until it gets down to get done.
Yeah.
Dana White in the past, he always say things, this will never happen in the UFC. And fast forward to some years after, those things eventually happened. So, will Ngannou fight in the UFC? High possibility. Like I say, if you can do well in the boxing fight, go out there, put a good performance against Tyson Fury, win the boxing fans over, that fight is a 60% possibility or 50% possibility. But let us know in the comment section. Do you see that fight happening in the near future? Will Ngannou fight John Jones in the future? In the UFC, it's possible to fight John Jones, but John Jones is tied in the UFC maybe for some few years. But will Ngannou fight John Jones in the UFC, or would they be a form of a collaborative fight, super fight, or promotion of that fight? Let us know in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Make sure to like our videos, subscribe to our channel, turn on post notifications. See you some other time. Peace, African fighters.
Africans!